We're just gonna name off all of them, guys. All the cities. You guys are all rude. Are Australians rude? I don't think so. They're every single time I've ever encountered an Australian in the wild, which is actually very rare. Actually, now that I think about it, I've probably only actually met a couple Australians, but they've been super nice. All the Australians that I see on like videos and stuff, super laid back, super nice, this and that. Well, evidently, this video here I just found is top 5 rudest cities in Australia. What's behind the attitude? That's what it says here. And the original channel is State Seeker. So make sure you go check that out. There will be a link in the description section down below as always, so you can go over there and hit like on their channel like I just did. So let's see what these claims are. Top 5 rudest cities. I've not heard about the rude side of Australia yet. So can you guys be rude? I'm sure everybody can, really. You're just known for being laid back.
Australia is famous for its laid-back vibe, beautiful
Yep.
beaches, and friendly locals,
Yeah.
right? Well, not always. While the land down under is known for its relaxed lifestyle and stunning landscapes, not every city lives up to the friendly Aussie stereotype. In fact, some of the country's biggest and most bustling cities have developed a reputation for being, well, a little on the rude side. But what does rude really mean? For some, it's the cold shoulder from a busy local, while for others, it might be the frantic pace of city life that makes people seem rushed or unapproachable. If you've ever been ignored when asking for directions, dealt with road rage and gridlock traffic, or felt like a stranger in a new city, you're not alone. So which
Probably.
Australian cities top the list
That happens everywhere, though.
for having the worst manners? And do they truly deserve the title of being the rudest in the country? In this video, we're counting down the top 5 rudest cities in Australia, uncovering why these places have earned their tough reputations, and whether it's really rudeness or just big city stress getting the best of people. From Sydney's frantic pace to Melbourne's cool aloofness, you might be surprised which cities make the cut. Stick around as we dive deep into what really makes a city seem rude and see if you agree with the rankings.
All right.
Number
do it.
5, Adelaide, South Australia.
Uh-oh, Adelaide.
Adelaide, the
You guys are rude. Sorry. He said it, not me.
capital of South Australia, often flies under the radar when compared to Australia's bigger cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Known for its laid-back charm and beautiful vineyards, you'd expect Adelaide to be one of the friendliest places in the country.
Wow, that actually looks really nice. I like the way that there's trees there. You don't see that around here, downtown and stuff. Normally you don't see very many trees. That's cool. It arches over the road. Very nice. Very nice. I meant rude. That's rude of those trees.
But for some visitors, this quiet city can feel anything but warm and welcoming. Many describe Adelaide as a city that's distant and reserved, where locals are polite, but not particularly friendly.
That is just cool. Look at all those trees.
It's the kind of place where small talk is rare, and strangers won't go out of their way to make you feel at home. If you're not from Adelaide, you might notice a sense of exclusion, like you're an outsider looking in. Tourists and even new residents often speak about feeling like they don't quite fit in, as though the city's calm exterior hides an invisible wall.
Huh.
While Adelaide might not have the same in-your-face attitude as Sydney or Melbourne, this sense of coldness can be just as off-putting. Some blame it on the slower pace of life, where the lack of hustle and bustle makes people more introverted, even a bit standoffish. Others say it's simply
Okay.
a reflection of Adelaide's smaller, tightly knit community.
Is this small? I mean, it looks pretty big to me. But I don't live in anywhere, I don't live by a big city or anything. I kind of live in the middle of nowhere. There's like probably 100 houses around me.
Where locals stick to their own circles and can be hesitant to welcome newcomers. For anyone expecting the outgoing friendliness Australia's known for, Adelaide can feel like a disappointment. It's a city that may not outright offend you, but can leave you feeling isolated and disconnected,
Okay.
making it an unexpected contender for one of the rudest cities in the country. Does Adelaide
Well, so basically it sounds like he's saying like, so if you move there from somewhere else, right? In which case any city's going to be like that. Like if you're an if you just moved there, you really are an outsider. You're not from there. So like what do you mean?
Adelaide really deserve this reputation?
I don't know.
That depends on who you ask, but for many, the emotional chill is hard to ignore. Number 4, Perth.
You rude ass people over in Perth. It's supposed to be the most isolated big city in the world. That's rude. Why do you got to be so isolated for? Rude.
Western Australia. Perth, the capital of Western Australia, is known for its stunning beaches, endless sunshine, and being one of the most isolated major cities in the world.
Yeah.
But with that isolation comes a downside. Many
Rudeness.
visitors and even locals describe Perth as feeling distant, not just geographically, but emotionally as well. It's often referred to as a place where people are physically present, but mentally checked out, giving the city a reputation for being cold and unwelcoming.
Who says
Unlike the
these
fast-paced
things?
chaos of Sydney or Melbourne, Perth's laid-back lifestyle can create an odd sense of disconnection. Tourists and newcomers have often shared stories of trying to strike up conversations, only to be met with blank stares or half-hearted replies. Many people
Huh.
describe it as a city where it's hard to break into social circles, like everyone already has their group and isn't interested in welcoming someone new.
I mean, I think that's really like everywhere. And that's fine by me because it's like in the real world, I don't need to be talking to a bunch of random people out there that I don't know, okay? I'm comfortable at my house. Just let me be, right?
Some believe Perth's remoteness contributes to this sense of aloofness. Being thousands of kilometers away from Australia's other major cities, Perth can feel cut off from the rest of the country, which may lead to a more insular attitude among its residents.
Yeah, but it's a big city, so like whatever you want to do is gonna be there. So you're not gonna feel cut off. You're just like anywhere. People that live in a city normally don't even leave their city. They just live their life there because everything you want to do is there. So you're not even gonna notice that it's just desert outside the city because you're just gonna be living there and living your life, right? That's not gonna be like, oh, because the city is so isolated. Oh, that's just gonna make me have this attitude. I don't understand what this is all about. But we're watching it, okay? We're watching it.
Locals are often seen as keeping to themselves, going about their day without much regard for outsiders. Even though Perth's beauty is undeniable, the emotional distance can make it a tough place to feel at home. Visitors expecting the stereotypical Aussie friendliness might be surprised to find a city that, while stunning, feels closed off and indifferent. Is Perth rude or just misunderstood? Either way, the feeling of being emotionally disconnected is enough to land it on our list. For many, the city's calm exterior hides a social frostiness that leaves a lasting impression,
Frostiness.
one that isn't always a positive one. Number 3, Brisbane, Queensland.
We're just gonna name off all of them, guys. All the cities. You guys are all rude. Brisbane. That bridge is massive. Okay, you got all these blue lights on there, shining so rudely in people's eyes.
Brisbane, the sunny capital of Queensland, is often promoted as one of Australia's friendliest cities, where the weather is warm and so are the people.
You're so friendly, it's rude. You're too friendly. It's coming off as rude.
But for some, Brisbane's charm hides a different reality, a city that can be friendly on the surface but cold and indifferent underneath. Many visitors and even some residents have found Brisbane to be a place where the friendliness feels performative,
Is that cliffs?
leaving them
Hold on,
feeling
though. Is that cliffs? But then there's like land under the cliff. It's just like a giant cliff edge with land right there. That is very cool. Very cool looking. How do you get down here? They got a giant elevator.
informative, leaving them feeling excluded or overlooked once they scratch beneath the surface. On the outside, Brisbaneites often appear welcoming and laid back, but this hospitality doesn't always extend to everyone.
No?
For tourists and newcomers, there can be a sense that the friendliness only goes skin deep, especially if you're not a part of the local community.
Okay.
Some describe encounters where locals seem polite but distant, as if they were going through the motions without any genuine interest.
That's how it always is anywhere, right? You don't know these strangers. So wouldn't that just be how you would just do it normally, right? You're like nice, like, okay, yeah, like, because you're cordial, you want to be polite to people, but like, I don't really know you, so I don't really care. I'm just trying to not be rude, right?
This can lead to an unsettling feeling where you're not quite sure if you've truly been welcomed or just tolerated. Brisbane's social scene can also feel cliquey, with tight-knit groups that don't
Clicky?
always open up to outsiders.
Oh,
Whether
they
you're
got
a tourist or a new resident, it can be difficult to find your footing, especially if you're expecting the open, easygoing vibe that Queensland is known for. The city's fast-growing population may also contribute to this, as many locals feel the impact of increased tourism and rapid development, leading to shorter tempers and a less patient attitude toward visitors. Beneath Brisbane's sunny exterior lies a city that, for some, can feel emotionally distant and indifferent. While it may not be as aggressively rude as other cities on this list,
aggressively rude. Okay, so you're being aggressively rude. Let's find out how.
the subtle sense of exclusion and lack of genuine warmth is enough to leave a lasting impression, and not always a positive one. Number 2, Melbourne, Victoria.
Melbourne. So is this one going to be aggressively rude? I don't know. We're going to find out. Maybe all that street art. That's rude. It's rude to decorate.
Melbourne, the cultural capital of Australia, is famous for its thriving art scene.
Oh yeah, a lot of food. I heard that it's like almost like the food capital of the world or something. I don't know if it's official or unofficial, but that's rude to have all that food.
World-class coffee culture, and
Coffee.
trendy cosmopolitan vibe. But behind this
Love
sophisticated
coffee.
exterior lies a city that many find unapproachable, even aloof. While Melburnians are
Aloof.
often proud of their city's reputation as the cool hub of Australia, this sense of coolness can sometimes translate into a social coldness that leaves visitors feeling ignored or out of place.
Okay.
For newcomers and tourists, Melbourne can be a tough nut to crack. Locals tend to keep to themselves, and while they may be polite, they aren't exactly known for being warm or inviting. Many visitors report feeling as though they're invisible, blending into the background of a city that seems too wrapped up in its own cultural superiority to pay attention to outsiders. Whether it's in a bustling cafe or on the
I don't
tram,
know.
striking up a conversation in Melbourne can feel like a challenge,
It's a huge
almost
city.
as if people are too busy or too cool to engage with someone they don't know. Melbourne's obsession with being at the cutting edge of fashion, art, and food also contributes to its reputation for being snobby. The city's famous laneways, hidden bars, and exclusive cultural spots can feel intimidating for those who aren't in the know. This sense of exclusivity, while appealing to locals, often alienates visitors, making them feel unwelcome in what can appear to be an insular and elitist environment.
I think it's a cool city.
Even though Melbourne is undeniably vibrant and exciting, its emotional distance is hard to ignore. For some, the city's cool factor comes with a sense of superiority that makes it difficult to connect with the people. It's a city that prides itself on being cutting edge, but in the process can leave many feeling cold and uninvited, earning it the number 2 spot on our list. Number 1, Sydney, New South
Sydney.
Wales.
Full of rude people, evidently.
Sydney, Australia's largest and most iconic city, is known for its stunning harbor, world-famous landmarks, and high-energy vibe. But behind the postcard-perfect images of the Sydney Opera House and Bondi Beach
Lies. Rudeness.
lies a city that's often labeled as the rudest in the country.
Is it?
For many, Sydney's fast-paced, high-pressure lifestyle creates an environment where people are more focused on getting ahead than being friendly, making it the most unforgiving city in Australia. In Sydney, it's easy to feel like just another face in the crowd.
I
With
mean,
over 5 million residents,
big.
the city is constantly buzzing with activity, and the hustle of daily life can feel overwhelming. Locals are often perceived as rushed, stressed, and too busy to offer a smile or even acknowledge a stranger.
Big city life, though. Big city life, pretty much wherever you are, right?
For tourists and newcomers, this can create a sense of isolation, as if they're being swept aside by the city's relentless drive. Whether it's fighting for a seat on a packed train or navigating the notoriously bad traffic, Sydney can be an emotionally draining place where common courtesy sometimes takes a back seat to the daily grind.
Uh-oh.
Sydney's reputation for being cutthroat doesn't stop at the streets. It also extends into social interactions. Some visitors describe the people here as cold or even rude, with little time for small talk or casual friendliness. The
I mean,
competitive nature of the city, driven by
maybe they're busy. They got stuff to do, right? I mean, they don't want to be stopping and talking to a bunch of tourists and stuff, right?
high costs of living and demanding jobs, often leaves residents with little patience for slowing down or engaging with strangers. If you're not moving at Sydney's breakneck pace, it can feel like the city is pushing you aside. Despite its incredible beauty and global appeal, Sydney's emotional coldness can leave a lasting impression. It's a city that, while breathtaking, is often seen as unwelcoming and even unfriendly, securing its place as the rudest city in Australia. At
Rude,
the end of the
man.
day, the perception of a rude city often comes down to personal experience. What one person sees as cold or unfriendly, another might view as the fast-paced realities of urban life.
Yeah.
Whether it's Sydney's intense hustle, Melbourne's aloof coolness, or Perth's isolation, these cities all have their unique quirks that can be misinterpreted as rudeness. In truth, big cities often come with big personalities, and it's easy to feel lost in the crowd or excluded if you're not familiar with the local way of life.
Right.
But does that mean these cities are truly rude, or is it just the
That's what you've been saying. I didn't say that. You did, guy.
natural side effect of living in large, competitive urban environments?
Duh.
Many locals would argue it's the latter. Beneath the surface, you might find that people are just as kind and welcoming as anywhere else. You just have to dig a little deeper to see it.
Then why did you
Ultimately,
make
whether
the
you
video?
experience warmth or coldness in these cities may depend on your own perspective and how you engage with the people and culture around you.
Right.
Have you ever been to any of these cities?
No.
Did you find them rude, or did you have a completely different experience?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about it, guys? Are you rude? I don't think you're rude, right? You haven't been rude to me. You know what you could do to prove that you're not rude? You could like the video and you could subscribe and hit the notification bell. That would be super unrude of you. You guys have a super fun, awesome day. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.